Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube universe, what is going on with you on this Monday morning? It is Monday, May 27th, 2024, roughly 11:46 a.m. California time. I am, of course, your always gracious host, Fallon from GoNootropics.com, coming at you with the black coffee chairs. Hope you all are doing good. Thank you for rolling through on this Monday. We continue to march forward, clearing this place out. The 30 days have been submitted, and we're just ticking down the days. And, we're going to roll right out of this place, head over to the East Coast, and begin the new life, right? This is new beginnings. And don't you reflect as you're clearing stuff out, as you're looking over the familiar views you will be leaving shortly. You soak everything in. You roll back the tapes and you ask yourself, all the time you spent, all the time, all the money, all the energy you invested into this place or into this thing, was it all worth it? Right? You roll back the tapes and you ask yourself, was it all worth it? So today I launched my third book. This is called Nootropics and Research Chemicals, Memories from a Lifetime of Self-Medication. I mention all this to say we've been talking about nootropics, invested in nootropics research chemicals for a very long time. On this channel we are no strangers to these esoteric substances. We've been at it for years, consuming these nootropics, trying new things, looking for problems. A lot of us dealing with the depression, the anxiety, the anhedonia, all these things. And for many years, I thought, perhaps there was an answer in these nootropics. Perhaps there was something out there. When I first got into nootropics, I was fascinated, man. Especially after I tried paracetam, I was like, holy smokes, there could be something here. There could be something, some sliver of gold in a sea of deadness. I discovered paracetam and for the first time realized that there could be something to these supplements. There could be an answer to my problems, to the depression, the anxiety, the anhedonia. And I've spent many years trying new ones. I've become a little bit boring these days, probably to you guys, because in the past, you guys know this, I was trying the 1P LSD. I was experimenting with all these novel substances, the atizolam, the phenibut, the 1P LSD, all these interesting substances, which I have chronicled in my latest book, Nootropics and Research Chemicals, which is essentially an account of the time I've spent experimenting and self-medicating with a lot of these things, the racetams, the 1P LSD, the phenibut, the modafinil, the FL modafinil, the edifoxin, the countless substances that I've come across with on my nootropics and research chemical journey. I've documented in my latest book, just kind of as a memoir and a final goodbye, because let's be honest, you guys can probably tell I'm moving on. I'm moving beyond the nootropics. I'm moving beyond the research chemicals. But I thought it was something at least worthy of documenting. I don't think anybody else has documented the nootropics world in a book. There's really no evidence of such a strange world existing. And as I mentioned in the book, if anything, this book will serve as evidence after they de-thaw our frozen carcasses. Thousands of years from now in the future, such a book will be evidence that the strange world of nootropics and self-experimentation ever existed, right? This is a very esoteric, corner of the world that not everybody gets. You know, if you're in if you're into nootropics and research chemicals and self-medication, you know, you're kind of in a small minority of people, and I thought it was worthy of at least documenting in a book to say, hey, this is a world that exists. I was in it for years, you know. So even though I'm moving on, it's just a little nod to the world. It's a little nod to the strange world of nootropics and research chemicals, and I document, you know, my experiences with a lot of these strange and crazy substances that I've taken for years and years and years. A lot of the interesting ones, you know, the phenibut, the atizolam, the 1P, the P-Goal, right? The 1P LSD, the FL modafinil, and the countless others. You know, I've spent the last couple months forming a book around these things and ultimately answering the question, was it all worth it? What did I get out of it? You know, so maybe if people who are new getting into it can read this book, and ultimately I'm answering the question, like, was it worth it? What did I get out of it? You know, I spent almost an embarrassingly long time experimenting with these things. It's almost embarrassing how many years and how many thousands of dollars of money spent, invested into nootropics, into research chemicals, into, you know, self-medicating to try and solve some of these real problems that I've been facing, like mental health problems and depression and anxiety, and a lot of the shit you guys face, and a lot of the reasons you watch my channels, because you resonate with being, like, you know, kind of messed up in the head and looking for some of these solutions and hoping you find it in one of these compounds, right? I was really hoping that, you know, my answer laid in one of these substances, and I spent many years trying to crack the code of trying to find the one thing that would work for my brain, that would kind of fix all my problems. So ultimately, the book is a chronicle of this journey that I've had over the many years, the journey you guys are familiar with, and ultimately answering the question as I roll back the tapes, like, was it worth it? After all this energy, time, and effort spent in this world, what did I get out of it, and would I do it all over again? You know, so it's interesting stories involving interesting substances that I've come across. Some funny stories in there. You know, lot of crazy stories in there. Kind of my origin story, why I got into this stuff, why my brain's messed up, and, you know, my personal story getting into self-medication, and just ultimately wrapping it up with a bow and answering the question, was it all worth it? Would I do it all over again? Were there some diamonds in the rough, right? Out of the hundreds of things I've tried, which ones were good? Which ones proved to be fruitful? Which ones produced value? And, you know, an interesting story with lessons, and ultimately answering the question was it all worth it? Was it all worth the time and effort? Was it worth it? So this is Nootropics and Research Chemicals, my third book, which I appreciate you guys checking out. For any of you who purchase the book and read it, obviously tons and tons of gratitude to you guys who purchase my books. I think it's an interesting book. I think it's a book first of its kind, really. I mean, nobody else has documented the strange world of nootropics in a book form. So I think it's something worthy to be on your bookshelf if you have a bookshelf. And, you know, as always, I thank you for the support. So this is Nootropics and Research Chemicals, Memories from a Lifetime of Self-Medication, now on Amazon. I'll link you guys below. And once again, thank you and much gratitude for you guys who go out and purchase and read this book. So that is the video of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Fallon, go nootropics.com. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I will see you very soon. Peace.